Welcome back to the Two for One channel, or welcome if this is your first time checking us out. Glad to have you here. I'm Dion, and alongside me, one of New Jersey's finest, Nate, is here today. And with the recent news surrounding the Mavericks today, just wanted to quickly get our thoughts out on the whole situation, try to figure out what the best course of action is for Dallas the rest of the season and just going forward in their long term. So big news today was, of course, Shams tweeting, today is January 13th, by the way. Anthony Davis's hand injury that he suffered against the Jazz last Thursday would require surgery and that he'd likely miss the rest of the season. But it was then just hours later that reportedly AD flew to Los Angeles in order to get a second opinion from his own doctor. When it was then revealed that maybe he didn't need surgery and that maybe there are some teams that are interested in landing him in a trade, despite the injury that will still keep him out 6 weeks at the minimum, probably more likely 2 months. But what was your just reaction to like just the way this kind of reporting went down? Because I know for me personally, I was just very confused as it all kind of transpired.
I mean, it's an Anthony Davis injury report that's always feels like we know nothing about what's actually going on because of how many times, especially that it's happened to him, and the severity is always a question. Oh, AD could miss a few games. He's the nickname Data Davis, unfortunately, is one of the most fitting nicknames I think that anyone has
Mm.
ever come up with. Yeah, it's just weird, but I also think, regardless, there was probably going to be teams that were willing to trade for him, other than if he was going to be out the entirety of the season, 6 weeks. Even if it is 6 to 8 weeks, there's still going to be teams interested because at this point, we just saw what Trae Young got traded for. A star level player. As much as I think Anthony Davis is a lot better than Trae Young, I don't know how much value Anthony Davis has to other teams, especially knowing that Dallas's leverage is in the toilet at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know what the likelihood of him actually getting traded even before the injury, but now it's just weird to me because the timing of all the tweets today from Shams made it seem like somehow that him getting injured like made him more likely to be traded or like that teams had renewed interest all of a sudden. Because the only thing we've really heard as far as the AD trade market is Atlanta and Toronto as the two most likely destinations. I don't feel like that's going to change. If he does get moved, that does feel like definitely the two
Yeah,
most likely
we saw
landing spots, but
the report too that apparently every team in the East felt they were an Anthony Davis away from winning, a championship, which I don't know is necessarily true, but I think that there are some teams that the gamble makes some sense for.
the salary is just so huge. Like any team that is the quote unquote Anthony Davis away, you got to take away a ton of that team in order to be able to land him. So I don't really see the market being there unless it was Atlanta or Toronto. Like those are two teams that have some movable salaries in exchange for Anthony Davis. But
We're going to talk about how what direction the Mavericks should be taking, which is why I'm also on the side of them just getting him out as soon as possible because he's making a lot of money, and Dallas all of a sudden becomes a more attractive destination. I know free agency isn't what it used to be, but you could still add some nice pieces when you get 50, $60 million off of your checkbooks.
it's yeah, even more than that. Yeah. So 58.5 mil next year and then a player option for 62.7 big ones. So on the one hand, yeah, like you love to clear up the flexibility, but at the same time, yeah, like free agency is cool and all, but like you said, like it hasn't really been the way to really land big talents. So part of me does think because another piece of the news that came out today, I think it was before all the AD news, was that Kyrie does in fact expect to return at some point this season. I think it was like the Dallas Star Journal or some local paper reported that today. So I don't know. None of it really makes sense to me. I
As
feel
of
like if
three
I
days
was
ago, Anthony Davis is going to miss potentially the whole season, and Kyrie Irving is going to be held out. And then today, it's Anthony Davis is going to be back in 6 weeks, and Kyrie Irving expects to play today. So I wouldn't be shocked if in a few days we hear, oh, Anthony Davis has had, or maybe in a week or two, we see Anthony Davis has had another minor setback on his injury, and he's expected to be out a few extra weeks.
Mhm.
We've had that happen before with Anthony Davis injuries. I would be very wary of any team that does try and trade for AD, and I wouldn't be surprised if any potential deal does end up getting held up by like a physical.
I mean, I think any team kind of knows what they're getting into when it comes to the physical, but for I think going into next season, I think it might make the most sense to just hold AD out as long as possible. Don't even entertain Kyrie coming back this season. Try and land one more good draft pick, and hopefully you land on that pick and you have sort of like a running mate for Cooper Flag. But in the short term, you go into next season having this guy in Cooper Flag who is elevating himself into like a top 50 player. Who knows where he could get to next season? You add Kyrie in, who like that type of player, like they are sorely lacking a player like Kyrie right now. I think the idea
Then you're
of
just playing the same gambling game though. Oh, if AD goes down, then well, we're basically screwed because our interior defense goes down. The shitter. Um, Derek Lively's health is very much up in the air at the
yeah,
moment. We have really no idea what the timetable on him looks like. Daniel Gafford, I don't think will probably be here by the trade deadline. I think he's a guy that, has a very good chance of being moved. I said here as if we're in, Dallas, but you have to get another good pick this year to try to pair with Cooper Flag. This is a loaded draft. If you get another even potential all-star level guy to put next to Cooper, that's huge because Dallas really lacks that second young guy. They have some other guys who are solid players. Najee Marshall, whether he gets traded or not. PJ Washington's good, but he's also going to start making a lot more money. Derek Lively is really that second young guy who's supposed to be a part of that young core. And like, again, his health is he should be fine. Hopefully, by next season. But they need that second guy to put next to Cooper as a young player to develop alongside, the rest of this team. Especially if they do keep Kyrie and AD, I'd like to see that fifth starter in the lineup be another rookie. I don't know. I don't know what they should do with AD because I want to see a team take the risk and take the gamble and see what Anthony Davis looks like on another team this season and take the chance for him come May.
Well, what do you think about Atlanta or Toronto as destinations?
Yeah, I like the Toronto one is interesting to me. I really because especially if I don't know if they have any interest in Emmanuel quickly, and if Toronto's cool with just starting Jamal Shed for now, because at this point, if you could get off of Quickly's contract when you also have Pirtle's contract already, I think I might be in favor of doing that. Shed's looked good. Anthony Davis fixes a lot of the issues right now that the Toronto Raptors have, and especially with how wide open the East is, I think there's reason enough that the Raptors could convince themselves, hey, we have a good roster, especially with RJ Barrett back. We play a lot better. They've played some of the best teams competitively with RJ. I think, if any team can convince themselves that there's reason enough to trade for a star, it's the Raptors who really have no other way of acquiring one.
Yeah, that and I think in order to get someone like AD, like they're gonna have to get off of one of those bad contracts of Quickly or Pirtle in order to do it anyway. So it's kind of a win-win in that sense. So yeah, I would definitely support an AD to Toronto trade. I mean, I wouldn't throw in a ton of draft picks, of course, but looking at like the Mavericks side of things though, like they own their pick this year. It's top two protected going to the Hornets next season. They have a swap with OKC. They basically don't have a pick in 29, a swap with the Spurs in 30, and then they start to own their picks again. So yeah, I mean, I would like to obviously get the highest pick you could, but I think going into next season, I'd still like to have as much talent as I can around Cooper Flag and see where you can take this thing. Because with someone who is as good as I think Cooper Flag is, I don't think you want to waste time and like spend next season just like toiling and just like trying to figure things out. Like I try to be as good as possible right away, just not this season. Like I
Yeah,
would
I
try to get
guess,
a pick
but
this season and then go for
okay.
it.
But even best case scenario with AD and Kyrie next year, do you think that that's a team that's capable of winning a championship? Because they don't have a lot of flexibility if they do keep those two guys around.
No, they don't. No, probably not a championship team, but a four seed maybe, a team that is dangerous. Which at this point in time, I think that's all you can really hope for. Like I think you want to just get Cooper Flag into competitive games as soon as possible. I think
I, I
that's
I
that's what
get
I'd
that.
be worried about more than a championship.
I don't hate that. I think I can get on
Hmm.
board with that. So I think getting Cooper playoff experience, that
Hmm.
early, he's going to be still 18 by the time like next season starts or whatever it is. So I think getting him playoff experience on a good team would definitely be useful. I thought that the Mavericks could be that team this year. So I guess I will stick to my gut from this off season where I said that the Mavericks would be a good team. I do want to see them selfishly play together because I think that'll be a fun team
Hmm.
at their best, but I just can't see AD staying healthy at this point.
Yeah, I just wouldn't give up on him for nothing. Like I look at this Mavs team, get the highest pick you can this year. The next 4 years, you really don't have much control over your pick. So I would try and be competitive in that time. Like squeeze everything you can out of AD and
Yeah.
Kyrie while they're still willing to be there, and just yeah, like you said, get Cooper Flag the experience, and then because even if yeah, they'll probably max out as like a four seed. They'll be like a fun first or second round team,
And then
but
I
that's
guess,
fine. Then you still have the Cooper Flag will be like 22, and
well,
you've
and,
built an
and
iteration of the
hopefully
Mavs.
I'm fully on. They have to get the best pick they can at this point, though. I think this year, just let Cooper go through the growing pains of having to be the number one option with little to no help for the rest of the season. I know that's kind of going to suck,
Yeah, just throw him
but
into
I
the
think
fire.
it's your
But
only option because they definitely need at least another guy to throw into that mix with Cooper to learn from AD and Kyrie if they're going to keep them around.
yeah, in a kind of convoluted way, it's could be setting up similarly to the Celtics situation where they had Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but they had all these really competitive veterans around, including Kyrie
No,
actually.
yeah, I don't think they're
Uh,
going to be that good, but I think it
no,
makes
but I think
sense in
it could lead
theory.
up to a similar situation where if they keep Kyrie and AD, they get a really good running mate somehow for Cooper Flag in this draft. And then they're going to get the playoff experience that like Tatum and Brown did early on, and look at how that's paid dividends for them later in their career. So I would be trying to set Cooper Flag up on that path.
Kyrie's gonna shoot what was it that he shot 7 for 18
Six
or
for 18. No,
six
he
for
said six
18,
for 17. He said I'm never going to shoot 6 for 17 again. The very next
and
game he
then he
shot six
shot
for
six.
18. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really good stuff. No, not that Kyrie.
not that similar. Okay.
No, no. Hopefully that doesn't happen to him, but we'll see. But yeah, I would just try to be as competitive as possible over these next 4 years. But this season, yeah, try and get that pick and move forward with that. But
In terms of getting that pick, are you on board with him like trading a Najee Marshall and just getting hopefully a few second
oh,
rounders for him?
okay. The concept of what you're describing, sure, but not Najee Marshall. I mean, there's so many other
Well,
like
isn't
mid-tier
isn't
contractors
Najee
they
on an
could move on.
expiring? Isn't Najee?
Next year he'll be 9.5 mil. So
Okay,
I would
never
want to
mind,
keep
never mind.
Najee
He's still
around.
okay.
He's
Okay.
by far the highest value contract of all
Yeah,
their
I
role
would not.
players.
No, I didn't. I thought he was on an expiring, and then you just
Mm-mm.
because if they're not going to try to win this year, there'd be no reason in keeping him. You can try to re-sign him in the offseason regardless if you wanted to keep him around.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to trade pretty much any one of their other guys, like PJ Washington. I agree with you that that's a good pairing with Cooper
I
Flag
like
at
PJ with
forward.
Coop.
But other than that, Clay at 17 next year, Daniel Gafford at 17
Yeah,
plus over the next
yeah.
3 years.
Gafford's got to be the guy that they deal at the
Caleb
deadline. I think
Martin,
for
10 mil
sure.
a year, like even Max Christie, he's fine, but I'd rather free up the money
Well,
elsewhere
because
with Najee,
let's
but
say like
sure.
Toronto doesn't trade for Anthony Davis, a guy like Daniel Gafford might be someone that they
Mhm.
covet too if they can make the money work. So there's
Yeah,
still definitely
yeah.
someone out there they can get value for Gafford. So I'd say sell high on the contracts that you are comfortable getting rid of. I definitely wouldn't get rid of Najee if they plan on running it back.
The issue with Gafford though is that, like you said, like we don't really know what to expect from Lively from a durability standpoint. So then all of a sudden you go from like being this huge team to being like super thin in the front court.
Yeah, I
So
guess because you can't bank on AD and Lively's
yeah, and
health.
the goat Dwight Powell is retiring at the end of the season, so they won't have
That
his
was
services. They will not have
no
his
Mark
services.
Cuban. Mark Cuban said that was not true on Twitter. He
Oh,
replied
you're
to
right. You're
a
right. He did
post
say
and
that.
said
Yes, we'll see.
not
We'll see what
true.
actually happens. Yeah, I don't know if Mark Cuban is the beacon of truth. Um,
Mavericks cult legend Dwight Powell.
Celtics legend Dwight Powell,
I think
actually.
that's how a good way to end it off with Dwight Powell. So
Yeah, we've come full circle as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that'll wrap this. Just
yeah,
we don't usually do stuff like this, but I think we'll do more stuff like this. Just these like quicker, like almost like mini pods, just on specific topics.
whatever you guys think. If we're completely wrong and we're telling you the exact wrong, if we're being Nico Harrison, call us Nico Harrison. Actually, no, that's a bit harsh of a word to call it.
On a scale of Nico Harrison to what they should grade.
Rate the job that we did
On
and
a scale
tell
of
us
Nico Harrison to
which
Sam Presti, is that fair to say?
something like that.
Yeah,
Banana.
where do we
We
fall?
rank
We say tank
banana.
this season, but keep AD and Kyrie and try to be competitive over the next 4 years ish or whatever.
So tell
Um,
us down below what you guys think the Mavericks should do. They have Cooper Flag, so they have a few options because he's pretty good at basketball.
Pretty good pick.
Anyways, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to subscribe. Check out all of our other socials. They'll be linked below. And if you enjoyed this video, stay tuned for the next one.